My name is Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
My name is Billie Eilish. My name is Billie Eilish.
My name is Billie Eilish. Year 5. Let's do this.
I think it's October 18th, 2017.
It's October 18th, 2018.
October 18th, 2019. October 18th, 2020.
The date is October 18th, 2021.
I'm 15.
I'm 16.
I'm 17. I'm 18.
I'm 19.
I have 257,000.
I have 6.3 million.
40.7 million. 67.5 million.
I have 94.1 million followers.
Okay, so as you can see, this is very interesting because you get to see the same person speaking at a different stage in their life, right, year by year. But again, what's really interesting, you're going to see that now she gets to look at past versions with past interviews, and she gets to make some comments, and this is going to be very valuable. Let's continue.
My attitude used to be, well, I can't go out, I can't go here, I can't go there, and I used to just not even be able to go to a park or go get food or get coffee. It freaked me out. In the last year, I have been opened up to it. I really feel grateful for that, because being able to feel confident in stepping outside without a hat and a hood and glasses and a mask and a jacket and doing this or whatever, it's so much better, and you don't have to live like that. And I realized that this year, that I don't have to live like that.
We progress through life in this way. We start from a place of not being very clear. We start from a place where we are constricted, we are restricted, we are limited by so many things that we cannot do, that we cannot understand. Think of, for example, as you are a child, right? As you're a child, there is this, your parents are the authorities in your life and tell you should do this, you should not do that, and you don't understand anything, you cannot do much, you don't have much leverage, so you are very limited in what you can do, right? But as life progresses, you start to have leverage, you start to not just be able to do more, but also allow yourself to do more. You see what's really interesting, that she was popular even years ago, but it was not a matter of what she could do, it was a matter of what she was allowing herself to do, right? And as you can see this progression through life, it's not like, it's more like getting rid of your own limitations. This is one of the things that usually happens through life. That's why you see people who are older in general, you're going to see them, they're more confident. Have you noticed, for example, and I'm talking about true confidence, I'm not talking about cockiness, right? Make the difference between somebody who is 15 or 16 and then look at the same person when they are 45. You're going to see that at a later age, they're just okay with who they are. They're just yeah, that's okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But I don't fucking care. I really don't care. It's the kind of pressure that's it hits me and then I don't care. I know, and it's in my brain that people expect a lot from me and that they expect this and they want me to do this, and
This is just me trying to convince myself that I didn't care. Every single one. Every single one. I know that I cared, and I was just literally coming up with some stupid quote that would make me pretend that I didn't care.
80.
Kind of crazy.
So you see, now she looks back and goes well, that was not really true, because I did care, right? One of the other patterns is people progress through life is that they get to acknowledge, they get to become true to themselves, right? As in really acknowledging how they feel. In this past version of herself, right, as she's looking at this past version of herself, she goes well, no, that's not true, because I did care, right? But in that past version, she was not really ready to accept that. Well, I am under pressure, and yeah, I do care about it, or it kind of affects me, right? Back then, she had this attitude well, I don't really care. I don't really care, because it's almost as if when you're in the midst of it, right, you have to feel strong, right? You cannot admit to yourself that, well, it's kind of a lot of pressure and I don't know exactly what to think about this. I don't know if I will be able to handle it. It's almost as if like you feel, again, when you're in the midst of things, events, as you always do, you put in this kind of like this strong, this powerful quote, like not quote, but clothing. This, you are cloaking yourself. I guess this is what I wanted to say. You are cloaking yourself. You are covering your insecurities, right? Until you pass. In a way, it's kind of like fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? But years later, and she looks back, she goes like, well, that was not really true. But you see, this is real confidence. Real confidence is literally admitting the truth, admitting what was and how it was. Making things look in a different way, different than how you feel inside, is not really confidence. It's more like, let me apply some makeup, let me cover this a little bit so I can transition over this period, and once I'm on the other side, I can look back and say, well, yeah, that was not really true. But usually this is how we progress through life.
Every time I see an interview from that period when I was like 16, I'm like, everything I said was so stupid. Like, not even stupid, it just was like not what I was actually thinking. I was thinking like, I'm overwhelmed, I hate this, everybody expects something from me, I don't have anything to give them, I fucking suck. Back then...
Yep. Yeah, you see, the reality was very different. The way she felt inside was very different than how she wanted to be perceived outside. But here is the reason. People usually don't do this because they are just fake, or they don't do this just because, you know, I just want to be perceived as different. It's almost as if like, I have to be strong. Like in the midst of it, again, when things get tough, people realize that right now I have to be tough. And it's, again, it's not like from a perspective of just like looking or appearing at something that you are not. This is really a genuine, I guess it's a genuine effort to transition, to succeed, to push through that period.
I was more loved. I was pretty overall like loved, I would say, to be honest. And so I was like scared because I really wanted to keep that love. And now, like, tons of people hate me, so I'm not worried anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't, so.
You see, she was speaking about when I had less followers, when I was less famous, I had a lot more love. And now, as I'm a lot bigger, a lot of people hate me, but I don't care that much. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Now, basically, two things to say about this. It's true that usually society gives you a lot more love when you're at the beginning, because there is this feeling that, you know, they want to be supportive. People want to be supportive. But yeah, that usually happens when you're kind of still small or somewhere in there. But when you become bigger and bigger, society starts to tear you down. You can see this with so many things. That's why this thing, too big to fail, is not really true, because when you are too big, it's almost as if it's guaranteed that you are going to fail, because there is too much pressure. There is too many people trying to hurt you, too many people trying to put you down, so they climb on top. This is how this is how it works. It's not, you know, this is not necessarily good news, but it's the truth nonetheless. This is how it works. And basically she speaks exactly about that. Now, the second point is that, well, although I was more loved at the beginning because I was smaller and people wanted to support me, now I'm bigger. I'm so big that I have also a lot of people that hate me. Now I don't care so much. I don't care. You like me, okay. You don't like me, just that's also fine. So this is another pattern of when people transition through life, and we spoke about this, is that we become more comfortable with who we are, and we stop caring so much about other people trying to put us down, or other people trying to enforce their expectations of us, right? In this interview, you're going to see that she, and by the way, I advise you to watch the whole interview. It's very interesting. She talks about when she changes something about her style, you know, wears a different dress. She changes just a little bit about her style. Because she is so famous, oftentimes there is a lot of backlash and pressure. It's like, oh, you change your style, you are no longer the person that I subscribed or follow, you're very different. And people are, you know, people take things, the changes, small changes like this very seriously, while she being so famous, she has to take them lightly. It's almost as if like, okay, you like me, okay, you don't like me, that's just fine, but I'm going to be who I am.
Take anything for granted. Don't ever come off stage during this year and think, I didn't really like that show. I didn't really, nope. And by the way, I'm never doing that again. When shows are allowed, every show is gonna be the best show I've ever done.
She speaks about 2020 when shows are not allowed, and she couldn't have that thing to go on the stage that she realized how much she misses. She realized how much she valued only after she kind of lost it, right? So she talks about not taking things for granted.
Oh boy. You know what's funny? It's so funny how fast we get used to things. It's kind of scary. Because you think, you know, when you don't have something, you think like, oh my God, when I have that in front of me, I'm not even gonna get used to it. It's gonna be so exciting and new. And it's exciting for like 2 seconds and then it's not.
True.
And it's super weird. I don't mean shows, I just mean everything in general. It takes 1 second to get used to stuff. Because that's what we're meant to do, is adapt. I wish that I could actually tell that year ago.
So one thing about this, first of all, is true. We adapt so much when we, so my God, this is really big, because as we set goals and we want to achieve things, right? We set them somewhere in the future. Like this is what I want. And that kind of pulls you forward. It gives you hope. It gives you a reason to live. It gives you a reason to wake up in the morning. It gives you a lot of energy to live your life because you have something to live for. Now, as you progress through life and you put in the work and you get closer and closer to that, which whatever that is, you're still kind of like very excited to get there. But once you have it, once you pass through the gates and the kind of like the game is over, you literally achieved that which you wanted. It's almost as if like you are here, you're looking around, it was like, okay, what's next? What's next? Like, I basically hoped so much that I'm going to gain from achieving this goal, and once I have achieved it, it's feeling like it's nothing here. Like literally, there is nothing. And what people don't realize is that the real value, and this is going to sound very cliche, but it's actually very true. The real value is not in the goal or achieving or getting there. The real value isn't getting there, it's in the journey. It's who you become as you transition, as you figure shit out to achieve that goal. That's what you get. Like, if there is something that you can hold and maintain throughout your life, that thing that you are actually getting is not the goal or the achievement, it's who you became as a person, right? Because you see, in order to transition from point A to point B, whatever is your point A and whatever is your point B, you have to literally transition to become a different person, right? And as you transition, as you actually at one point get there, it's for you to hold and it's for you to retain, to grab and hold, it's the person that you became. That's it, is the journey, it's the memories, it's the experience, it's the person that you became. But that thing that you just got, the money, the fame, the whatever, it's going to feel like, yeah, that's normal. And the reason why that's going to feel normal is because you are already the person who deserves that thing. Let me put it this way. When you're at point A, let's say you don't have any money, life is really shitty, right? And you look somewhere in the future, you go like, oh, my life would be so amazing if I could have that, right? In point A, that thing at point B, whatever you set as a goal looks so amazing, it's because you are not there. It's because you are at point A, you are literally the person that doesn't have that which whatever you want. So that's what makes it so enticing. It's the difference between who you are and the person that you should be, so you get that which you want. But again, once you transition and you get there and you get what you want, you also get to be the person that deserves what you wanted at point A. But at this point in time, stay with me, I know it sounds complicated, but at this point in time, at this point B, you're already the person, so that's why this feels normal. Because you are the person that deserves the thing. Get it?
Go Billy, because boy was I suffering not playing shows and not seeing fans in real life, and you know, being able to actually be with them for real and not through a screen. So it's been amazing, but it's so crazy how fast I just like picked it all right back up.
This is easier said than done. Like, don't take things for granted. And everyone can say this, but in a way, in a very weird, twisted kind of way, we all take things for granted because it's very hard not to take them for granted. And the reason, it's exactly, you know, stays in the argument that I've built earlier, is that when you are in the moment, like right now, whatever is the situation and whatever is your kind of like the environment, how you function, what you have and what you get to enjoy into your life, that which you have, you already have. Like literally you are at that point in your life, whatever that is, right? So whatever you have, right, it's normal. It's normal because I'm here, like I'm literally at point, whatever that is for you. We look around us and all we see is normality. If you look at it, like if you judge your life, you consider right now, well, it's normal that I'm watching this guy on YouTube. It's normal that, you know, we have artists and music and smartphones and technology and the internet. That's normal. Well, it's not normal if you look from a different point in time. If you would look in, let's say in 1500s, a few hundreds of years away, right? If you would literally try to comprehend, let's say somebody from the future, from now, would come back and go like, hey, look, in the future, this is going to be true. This is going to be true. We are going to have internet. We are going to have cars, electric cars and robots and things like that. You would be like, that's not normal. You know when that looks normal? Right now. Right now, that's normal because it's normality. And this is how we transition. We transition to through life while reality slightly changes outside of our perception. And that's why you almost, in a way, you almost need to never get to fully enjoy that new thing. It's because you deal at times with a different point in your life, you deal with just another normality. This is another point in time where, oh, this is normal, and this is normal, and this is normal, because you transition as you transition through life, you learn, you get new experiences, you learn to process your life in different ways, you upgrade your mental model of reality, and again, you have yourself at all times. And the way you perceive the world and the results that you get are because you are who you are. And again, that feels normal. Taking things for granted, if you take this as like, oh, this is normal because I deserve my results, whatever that is, that's kind of like the healthy, almost unavoidable way to take things for granted. But there is another way, and maybe this is where this is where most people kind of speak about. There's another way where you are really not appreciative of life itself. Whatever is that normality, it's almost as if like you have to remember that, you know what, this was not always the case. Whatever you are right now, you have to realize that it was not always the case, and you transitioned to this point. You got to this point, right? And if you look back, and this is, by the way, that's why this interview is so valuable. If you look back, you can have a glimpse at that transition. But it's very healthy to have different snapshots from your past, like past interviews or recordings or writings from you that you can look back. But that's when you start to make that perception of your past progress and get to understand how you got to this place where you look in the past and go like, oh, I used to be this way. Yes, I used to think that way. I used to say those things. I used to dress in that way. Whatever is the case for you, it's very valuable because, it's going to tell you a lot about how you got here.
All the time. And it's not. Things go in waves and things happen and things stop and then they start, and it's like you just have no idea what's to come ever. And I think just try to be aware of the amazing things you have going on right in the moment instead of later. Because even though then, I felt like a year ago now, like nothing was good and I had nothing I liked to do, and there was nothing that was, and there was so many things that now I look back and I'm like, that was cool. And it's just so weird that we don't realize what's in front of us at all until it's not.